Hello. So I am going to start doing watercolor Wednesdays on the blog, and we're going to start with basic pictures. I'm going to work up into a little bit more elaborate. I'll show you the stamps that I used, but you can use anything that you want to try to create your own versions of little mini watercolor paintings. So today we're going to start with this little pot with flowers. Super simple. You just need a couple different stamps from the stamp sets that I use. So let's get started. So for the stamps, I use Art Impressions stamps. This is the Tuscan Villa set, though I don't think they use it. She makes it anymore, but I'm going to be using this larger pot. You may be able to find this elsewhere. I don't know anymore. Then out of the flower set 2, I'm going to use this little cute little kind of daisy bunch. Out of the original flower set, this little cute kind of pansy posies. Out of foliage set 1, these tiny little grasses. And out of the new foliage set 4, newer foliage set 4, one of these 2 little vines, doesn't matter which one you want to use. Okay, so to start, we're going to start with our pot. And again, I use Marvy markers. You can use Tombow as well, whichever you prefer or whatever you have. So I'm going to begin with taking number 45 sepia, and you just color your stamp on, and then followed by number 86 African Violet. So I'm going to do a 2-shade cover, and it kind of gets a grayish tone once I pull the color out of the lines. All right, so I'm going to kind of go a little lower on my paper and just stamp. And next I'm going to get some water on my brush. And I'm going to pull the color out of the line. So kind of touch the line and drag down or off to the side. Never cross over the lines, because then they'll just go away and you'll lose your detail completely, which is kind of hard when it has all these little lines over here. Just kind of drag as you can. Get more water when you need to. Always pinch off your brush to remove excess water so you don't accidentally add too much and really lose detail of your paintings. So on the bottom, kind of go really dark down here. Add as little of this as you like. Since this is a round pot, the center is going to stay relatively white. Okay, so I'm going to start there. And then we're going to paint it in. So I'm going to do number 14 turquoise. And I'm just going to scribble the color onto my palette. Get my brush a little wet. Pinch it off and then just grab some of the paint. Again, like with watercolor, you want to start light and then add layers to go darker. So never just start by piling on a whole bunch of color at once, because it's hard to get rid of it. So your sides are going to be darker. And as you go in towards the center, the areas will be lighter. And so I just kind of feather around and then just kind of leave the center. These markers tend to dry super quick if you don't use a lot of water. So you can quickly go back and add your second layers to make them darker. add, you know, as much as you like for the darkness, the shade that you want. I think I'm actually gonna leave this for now and decide if I want to come back towards the end. I'll add a little bit more down here. Okay, so that's good for the pot. So now we're gonna add our flowers. So we're gonna take this little cute, I don't know, daisy bunch, little posy bunch, and then number 20 magenta. And again, you just color it on. And then with these, you're gonna wanna stamp it more than one time before you recolor. So I'm gonna kind of just move it in a little circle, and I just stamped it like 5 times. So again, when you stamp it the multiple times, that's when you get like the true watercolor effect. Kind of go down over your pot if you want. Add a little bit over here, kind of coming down. Okay. So now again, we're gonna add water. And now instead of brushing, we're gonna dab. So you just dab around. Make sure again you pinch off your brush so there's not a lot of water. And you want to leave some white space between the petals. It just makes it look a little more realistic, a little more watercolor-ish. And as you can see over here, this was one of the lighter last stamps that I did, so it's a lighter color than like the first set of stamps right here. So you get like those true values of like shading like you would with watercolor if you're just using like actual plain watercolors. And so you can always add some kind of out of bounds here. Add a couple like extra little blooms sticking up and out. Okay, so that looks good. So I'll stop there with those flowers. Next, I'm going to take this little tall bunch of flowers, and I'm going to again use the African Violet in number 86, and this will be the petals. Or I'm sorry, the flowers. And then I'm going to use number 15 olive green. I'm not going to paint the entire stem. I'm just going to go kind of like halfway down them. I don't need them super tall, so just paint as you will. And then I'm going to stamp these kind of coming out the top of the flowers. Okay, I'll add a couple more over here. So again, add as many and as little as you like. Now with these, again, you're just gonna dab, just kind of barely touch the blooms to soften that color. And when you add water to these markers, the color actually becomes more vibrant. And then it takes away the sharpness of it, you know, being an actual stamp. So you just kind of, and if you want, you know, dab a couple out, you can. I'm gonna rinse my brush and then just kind of touch wherever there's leaves, a little bit on the stems. I don't really want to take away the stem detail. Okay, so there is that. And now that my pot is fully dry, I'm actually gonna go back and add a little bit more color, I think. Try to get it a little darker here on the sides. Kind of blend it in a little bit better. Even when I'm painting like my pot, I really just kind of dab around. Like I don't just fully do brush strokes. And I like the texture that I get when I paint like that. Okay. So now we're gonna add a little bit of vine into the pot. So again, we're gonna go back to the olive green. And again, I'm not going to color the whole stamp. I'm just gonna color the tip of it. And then just add it wherever you want. Again, stamping more than once. So I just did 3 times. Add a little bit down here. we'll add some right here in the front of the pot. And then, let's see, we'll put a little bit right over here. I think it could use some. Okay, so back to our brush and water. Pinch off the thing and dab to spread. All right. And last, for our stamp, I'm going to use this tiny little grass. Color it on with the same olive green. Just going to stick it down here on the bottom. Kind of making like the pot's over in the grass so you can go on top of your pot. I kind of walk it down and then decide if I want to like add a little more. I'm going to add a little bit of green to my palette just in case I need to add a little more for like a shadow. And with the grass, pinch off your brush and drag them up and out like blades of grass. So I'm going to take a little bit of my green from my palette, kind of brush like I have like a little shadow down here. Okay, and then last, I'm going to take 17 Still Blue, and I'm just going to add like a little bit of sky around my pot. I'm not going to fill in the whole thing. I'm just going to give like the effect of a sky. So I'm just going to kind of dab some a little bit down here, kind of come up to that first little vine branch, and just a little bit over here. And then I'll just kind of add a little bit above it. I'm not gonna paint the whole thing. It doesn't need to be painted the whole thing. You just want like the illusion of the sky. So these little projects are perfect for, I use them as just little mini paintings. They're really small. The biggest ones I think I've made only are a 5x7. I tend to stick with 4x6. I like 4x4s are like a good little square size. This one is probably a little bit bigger. Or it's not a 4x4. I'm not really sure what size this is. Maybe about 3x3. I didn't quite measure. And then that's it. You will sign it. And if you want to date it, you can do that. And there you have it, your little fun mini painting flower pot. Stay tuned till next time, and I'm going to show you how to add a second pot, and we'll have one hiding behind the other one.